Hello and welcome to Walker Tea Review. I'm Jason Walker here to present a tea, exploring tea so that you know a little bit better of what you're getting before you make an online purchase. I'm going to go ahead and get this tea ready to go. Got out my spoon here, scooping in enough to cover the bottom, say, inch diameter of my 3-ounce gaiwan here. The water's been brought to a boil, been cooling for a few seconds now. Never really got to a full rolling boil, but the professionals, by the way, can tend to, kind of the standard procedure is to bring your water to 212 degrees boiling. Steep everything at the same temperature, because when you do that, you bring out the positives and the negatives of each tea. There's nothing that can be hidden behind lower temperatures, nothing can be covered up in that sense. So, something to consider if you really want to take a tea for a test drive, a full. I'm going to talk about this tea though, and talk about the dry leaf, the wet leaf, and the liquor. Go ahead and introduce this tea as well. This is from DrinkTheLeaf. This is their GreenDragonDongDing. You can get 2 ounces for $8, and this is there's a little bit of information about where this tea was sourced. It is from the Luku Township in Taiwan. This is I should mention again, this is a Napa, California based tea company, so you can check them out. I'm going to go ahead and talk about this tea though as well, giving it a smell. And what I get are characteristic of more lightly oxidized oolong teas. More so, now I get some of these aromas somewhat from Tiaguanes, but this seems to stand out more in some of your more lightly oxidized Taiwanese greens. And I'm getting some kind of hyacinth, so there's a sweet flower note. Some might equate that with a lilac type of aroma. What else am I getting here? I'm getting some kind of sweet pea flower, sweet pea. So there's a light, a gentle, sweet green vegetable smell here that's quite pleasant too. Looking at these leaves, I'm going to go ahead and scoop out just a few here. Shake out a little bit. First off, I see portions of stem, which indicates this is more than one leaf rolled together, and that's pretty characteristic. Sometimes you will get up to 3, sometimes even 4 leaves together. Other pieces are quite small, so they may be individual leaves by themselves without any kind of stem there connecting the leaves. I'm getting colors more along the darker green-blue over towards a lighter green, lightly yellow. So this has got a lighter color compared to some of the more richer, the deeper green-gray, green olive drab type colors. This is getting this, so there's less oxidation, less, and that's the impression, of course, by calling it a green oolong, but also less heat, less toasting aspect going on here. The toasting did not brown out the colors there. So I'll be able to tell more looking at the wet leaf here. So I'm going to go ahead and pour. Put this over to the side here. Angle my lid a little bit. Get my pitcher ready. And pour just like so. So you have to shake out those last few drops there. Talk about the liquor there in just a moment, but first I want to get a little smell of this wet leaf. I'm actually going to shake this just a little bit, kind of loosen that up some. Aromas are not where they were with the dry leaf as far as the sweet hyacinth. There is some sweetness there, and it's moving more over towards that green vegetable type sweetness. So I'm getting kind of, again, some of that sweet pea coming out. As this cools, it's more likely to change in character, release something different. So let that kind of sit for a second. It's getting more, a little bit more towards a richer bean type note. A bit of a light lima bean type of smell, fresh green lima bean. Now again, as it's cooling here, the flow is changing and is moving over towards the lighter, sweeter. It's getting closer to resembling that hyacinth, that lilac note that I noted that we found in the dry leaf there. But I'm going to go ahead and pull out a few leaves here. For example, here is a leaf not fully unfurled. That's probably a good sign. Subsequent steepings would probably loosen that up, and because it hasn't fully unfurled, there's more flavor and character in there to be released. Let's see if I can find. Yeah, I saw a piece of stem there because I wanted to look and see how many leaves were attached here. So I've got one. I've got two. I've got a third one here. I've got a little tip there next to it that indicates there was a tip, perhaps, or a bud there, or the start of a bud. So I'm going to set that there. I've also got some leaves like this one here, larger, a bit thicker, ragged on the edges, with some blotches of oxidation there too. Now these other pieces that I pulled out, no visible, but they're still kind of wrapped up. They're not fully unfurled, but I don't see a lot of blotchy oxidation, brown, rust brown type spots there. So what that indicates is that the grading process was a little bit more open. You had some of the thicker, broader leaves, but you had some individual leaves, but you also had some leaf sets, 3-4 leaves there, like I see here. You had some individual, lighter, more delicate leaves there as well. So, setting that to the side, I'm going to now go and look at this liquor, give it a swirl here, hold that up to the light, and you can see a bright gold yellow type color there. Now it's getting, aromas are getting back towards that lilac, that hyacinth, that sweetness there. What I'm also picking up is a bit of a buttery type character, which can frequently be found with the Jinshen varietal, a Taiwanese varietal called Jinshen. So that makes me think that this was not the Qingxin varietal of Wulong, of tea plant, but the Jinshen. Okay, I'm going to give that a pour now. I mean, looking down at the cup, it still looks bright, looks clear. It's not cloudy. Nice sheen to it. Give it another shot here. Rich texture. It's not overly astringent. It's not bitter, but it's got a thickness to it that makes the tea feel brothy, heavy on the mouth, which is nice. So it's got some richness in that sense. The taste and aromas, it starts off with some of that kind of light hyacinth. In the middle, the further I get away from the actual drink, it's starting to build up. Building up a little bit of a tinge of dryness, a bit of kind of a acidic type note there. But there still is that green vegetable, and I'd say that's stronger than the hyacinth as you swirl it, roll it in your mouth. but nice character. Again, the body and the texture are what's really carrying this tea. The aromas are a lighter, not as rounded as or as pronounced. Off-camera tastings, previous tastings, it seems to be environmental factors. Depending on the day, the humidity, the temperature of the day, sometimes you can draw out more of the aroma there. But looking at it overall, you know, I gotta give this one more taste to see if I can taste any of that Jeanshrine character there. This one does lean more towards a Jeanshrine type taste aspect to it. I can't be certain of that. I'm not gonna say one way or the other, but there's something there worth investigating. So, looking at this tea, looking at all the characteristics of it, it's got some nice body and character in that aspect. As it cools, it begins to develop more of the aromas that can be present. That aroma picks up in intensity. Looking at the variety of leaves in the wet leaf here, you know, overall, I give this tea a 90. Got some nice components to it. Got, like I said, nice character there, nice texture, nice body, nice brothy thickness. But overall, there's some things that you may be looking for that you may not find. So, come back to Walker Tea Review to find if this is the tea that's going to bring all those components and characteristics that you're looking for.